This is an all-day live alert. I'm BC Onalieri. Any moment now, we will hear from Governor Tim Walz about new license plate options for Minnesota drivers. There will be 9 new designs available this year, including the popular blackout plate. The blackout plate is especially popular with drivers in Iowa, and residents here also want one. The new plates cost a little more and include an annual $30 fee, which will go to charity. Right now, you're taking a look at Governor Walz. He's actually purchasing a license plate himself. He is doing this before addressing the media. Let's listen in.
You guys are rolling right there.
No, you okay?
Oh, I guess I can touch.
It's 58.50, so one moment here. It'll be ready for you in just, oh, you know what? We don't need to use your
Why'd you go with the blackout paints?
That's what I'm getting.
No, why?
Oh, they're great. They're just the tradition of them, and I think for collector cars and on the old vehicle, I'm putting it on. So,
that'll look very good.
and I cannot stand that Iowa had them and we didn't.
Right.
Whose car does it go on?
It's going on my International, my Scout. Yeah, it's that old SUV.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Sweet.
One moment. Just have to grab you some
thank you.
And again, thank you so much for joining us for our Fox 9 live alert. Right now, you're taking a look at Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. He's there purchasing a specialty license plate. They are now available to anyone here in the state. There will be 9 designs available this year, including the popular blackout plate. That plate is especially popular with drivers in Iowa, and residents apparently here wanted one too. That is what Governor Walz says that he's purchasing for one of his vehicles. He says that, he's excited to buy this blackout plate and wishes that Minnesota had it before Iowa. Anyways, the new plate costs a little more, and it does include an annual $30 fee, which will go to charity. There are also designs that include the state's professional sports teams. We are waiting to hear from the mayor after he makes his purchase. You can see media there gathered at a White Bear Lake. I'm assuming it's the Secretary of State's office is where he's purchasing this plate, but clearly excited. License office is what I'm told, and White Bear Lake is where the governor is making this purchase. Clearly he's excited about what he's going to receive soon, and we are expecting remarks any minute now, but in the meantime, let's dip back in to see what's going on there. And you are with us here on an Fox 9 all-day alert. I'm BC O'Neill. Any minute now, we are expected to hear from Governor Tim Walz about new license plate options for Minnesota drivers. There will be 9 new designs available this year, including the popular blackout plate, and that is something that the governor himself, you see it right there on your screen, he just purchased for one of his personal vehicles. These plates, they're really popular with drivers in Iowa, and apparently Minnesota drivers also wanted one as well.
Welcome to White Bear Lake, Mayor, City Manager.
Right now.
Thank you for having us
listen.
in this great facility. And we're at DVS office here, and this is we're here for a reason. This is a pretty big office, as you see. It does a lot of walk-in. It was also this office and the experts here who were part of the beta testing that updated from MinLars, if some of you recall. I try not to say that very often anymore, but a system that did not work and did not serve folks as well, from both employees to the public, to get better service on this. That has since been upgraded to a system that I think we all see, and I just got the chance to do it in the purchasing of my blackout plates that we're going to get. Mine will be my own, but this was one of the new things we put into place this year in the last legislative session. There were several new specialty plates to include Vikings and Twins, and then of course classic blackouts. And you're going to hear from DVS Director Zhang to talk about these are a hot item flying off the out of here. But I made the case that I felt this was one thing that Iowa had over us that we didn't have before, so that is now corrected, and I will have them on my vehicle. Also like to note an upgrade that folks have really helped with, and from our deputy registers to this location to the work that the director has done, I was able to renew my tabs at the Cub food store after I bought groceries, and you're able to use the kiosk now, and it spits the tabs right out. And one of the goals of that was, post-MinLars, was to try and make the user experience as pleasant as possible. And you saw here very quickly the lines are moving fast. We've got folks able to do that. You can also do them online. You can renew your tabs, and just a real upgrade from what we were doing. So it's exciting for me. I'm going to turn it over to Director Zhang to talk a little bit about the number of these that are going out. And if you recall, the funds are dedicated to different causes with the plates you get, whether you have a veterans plate, you have a critical habitat plate. Blackout plates help support the work of DVS in their locations. So with that, Director. Exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. So as of this year, we will be implementing 9 special plates. It's a record number of plates for us to offer. And I just want to thank all the folks involved in that, are the partner organizations providing the artwork, the State Patrol, who verifies that the plates work and the designs work, and MinCorp, who helps us with production. Critical partners in this work, and then obviously our deputy registrar partners who make this all possible. Blackout plates and our Vikings plates will be in stock at all of our office locations, and so folks can walk away with plates. We have all the other 9 plates available and for order, and those will be delivered by mail. I'm very excited to announce we have, as of this morning, over 3,800 blackout plates have been issued. That is a very impressive number when you look at the total number of special plates that we offered last year in its totality. Our most popular plate is our critical habitat plate, and we issued 70,000 over the last year. And so 3,800 in a couple of days, I think we're trending in a very positive direction, and it's clear that Minnesotans are very excited about this plate.
Well, thank you all. Another of the options for folks. Again, I would stress again, we're at, I believe, 8 locations to expand to 15 on our kiosks, trying to get word out on that. It just saves you a lot of time. You can do it right when you're shopping, and I can attest to you, it takes about 5 minutes. You just come in there, you make sure you have your VIN number, your insurance information, pay by credit card right there, and then it'll spit out your tabs to you and your registration. With that, we'll take some questions.
Can we see those plates again?
Yes. This is the sample that's here to go forward. Mine in full disclosure, my personalized plate is 1 Minnesota, so I've had that one for a while. I'm glad I don't want to leave that one up again to put it back into rotation. So that's what mine will be on this.
What is the appeal of the blackout plate?
I think it's nostalgia, and I think many of the states that have it, there's about a dozen. I think when you go to car enthusiasts, they're the ones that mostly will tell you about this. Folks who have older cars or folks who are into their car, there's a nostalgia about them. When we were out in California, I was riding with one of the troopers and talking about it's one of their most popular plates. It's also one that's so popular people make their own. They put black over it and they try and counterfeit them or whatever because they're hard to get. And it's just I think it's a nostalgia thing. It harkens back to a time when the simplest plates, early automobiles coming on, were black and white, and I think that's the thought to it. And one of the things we talked about with State Patrol or whatever, we had some of the problems early on some of the specialty plates years ago, hard to read when they got up in there, and I think one of the things is that they're very clear, and it's just it's a thing about them. Like in Iowa, they had like in their first year, if I'm not mistaken on this, they had like 500,000 of plates in a smaller state like that. There's massive numbers of them, so they're very, there's just an appeal to the collectors, appeal to nostalgia, so glad to put it on board. And I think giving choices to folks, it's something I've been kind of excited about. You have the classic Minnesota plate, but you can have your Loon plate, Moose plate, your Gustavus plate, U of M, all those. Give some options.
Did the end of the football season contribute to you not picking the Vikings?
No, I said that. I said they're selling. They're here and they're going out of here or whatever. I think there was disappointment. That's what I was saying. I don't know. People pick it back up again, and the Timberwolves plates will go, and I think we got the new Twins plates.
And your plate, the number 1, the 1 Minnesota?
No,
Exactly
no, it is 1ONEMN. So, I think I'm about the, what'd you say, about the 3,800th one to get this. So I asked, I wanted to, but it didn't work out on scheduling. I wanted to be first in line to get them. But what I will compliment the commissioner on this and said that everybody waits in line the same way. So I'm here on the day I can get here.
Director Jean, can you explain the fee structure? How much more do these cost, and where does that money go?
Yeah, there's all special plates have a contribution that are associated with them. For special plates, the contributions go back to the organizations that designed the plates or that introduced the plates. The blackout plates specifically go to the driver and services operating account, which goes back to the legislature to appropriate for other services that driver and vehicle services throughout the state.
So the critical habitat goes to what, the environment, and veterans go to veterans groups, or how does that work?
Exactly. Yeah. There are charitable organizations associated with each of the plates, or there's associated with each of the plates, and
So what about the Vikings, then where does that go?
Yeah, the great question. The Vikings plate, they established a charitable contribution fund, and all the donations go to that fund.
So it doesn't go to Justin Jefferson?
It does not. It does
He's
not.
got to have a JJ. He's got to have a JJ plate on the Vikings. You guys hold that one. There's got to be. So.
Can you talk about the rollout of some of the other major sports teams and the MMIW plates?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have the other sports plates. We work directly with those teams to design for plate design and getting those into production. We have 5 of 6 ready to go. We're working with United. Thank you. Thanks, Sally. Yeah, the United, and we're just working through some final logistics to get their plate going. The missing and murdered indigenous relatives plate is almost ready to go, and that'll be released later this month.
Can you talk about, I guess the impact that money from these places actually makes? I mean, do you guys see a sizable amount of, revenue from these?
So the revenue from our plates go to our generic fund. I mean, all plates have fees associated to them that helps to support the driver and vehicle environment and ecosystem. The actual contributions go to those charitable organizations, and at that point, those are reported and tracked separately.
But percentage-wise, though, for like something like this, like the blackout plates, I mean, is that going to make a sizable dent in the ability to, kind of have resources and stuff?
Well, I think it's a bit early to know exactly what the revenue source from this is going to look like, but we are definitely excited about it, and we see that it's trending in a very positive direction.
Sorry if I missed this. What was the cost of the blackout plates?
The blackout plates are a $30 minimum contribution. You're welcome. Anyone's welcome to contribute more. It's a $30 minimum.
What kind of services would that
Yes.
go for with your organization, the $30? What will that help you do?
specifically, and what might people see from that?
Well, it's an opportunity for us to work with our legislative partners to identify different ways to provide more services to Minnesotans. I mean, there's so much more that we want to be doing as an organization, and that requires funding, and we work closely with our partners to figure out how we can deliver that for Minnesotans.
Kiosks are one example, and we got partners in that, so.
Exactly.
And if you could speak to like how this is such a unique way for people that have these passions and these hobbies that they can put their dollars to it. They can put it to conservation. It's kind of a unique fund.
Yeah, it is a smart thing, and I said it funds the folks because again, I always recall, people want to know where their dollars are going, and when they see these employees behind the counter helping them get this done, helping them solve an issue, relicense a vehicle, get a lost title or whatever, they see that happening. And then I think this expansion of services, I really applaud the DVS, the commissioner and the director for really trying to make services more user-friendly. I think that's always a critique against state government that I think's fair, that we need to be customer-friendly on things, and I think they're really doing that. The idea of the kiosk, the idea of it was not that many years ago, mail-in tab renewals, things like that, do it online, all types of different ways. And so I think, again, people are less inclined to be a little bit salty, because I mentioned that at the kiosk, when people are renewing their tabs, there was a gentleman standing there when we did it down in Rochester. He says, well, who can I yell at about the cost of these if I'm doing it with a machine? And I said, we can put a recorder on there or something, but they do want to express sometimes in person, but I think there's less frustration if they see they're getting improved services. And I think one of the things with the specialty plates is it just allows people to show their passions. You spend about an hour a day looking at the person in front of you on the license plates or whatever, and you see a little bit of variance. Really interesting fact, I haven't talked to these guys about this, but I saw it out in California. They have electronic plates where you buy the fee to it and it's all encrypted or whatever, and you can put it up. So the way I think I understand it is you're displaying and you want to display your critical habitat plate, but there's some days you want to display a black plate or whatever. You can pay the fee for both and switch it over. It's the same plate to you or whatever there. I don't know if some states are experimenting with that. So they're just ways, I think, to be more responsive, to kind of lean into what people are asking for. And I think, again, I'm really grateful and highlighting that was a pretty rough time as we were switching out of MNLARS, and the employees that really helped us get through that, the folks that really made a difference on that. And I think the feedback I get incredibly positive now about this. Again, it's interesting to me to talk about Californians on that, the legendary California DVS stations or whatever, compared to Minnesotans. Very quick, very smooth.
Two more are up. Governor and Commissioner, do you have any update on the situation in Cloquet at this point?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Commissioner Bob Jacobson. Question was about any updates on the terrible incident that happened in Cloquet yesterday evening. First of all, our hearts and prayers certainly go out to that community and to those families that have been impacted by what happened. Anytime a community, especially one as the size of a Cloquet, is impacted by that level of violence, that level of gun violence, it certainly has a ripple effect throughout all of that region, and specifically that community. I'll also add that what I can tell you about last night is that the first responders from that area, including not only Cloquet, but the surrounding law enforcement, fire, EMS agencies, sheriff's offices, really rallied to come around last night to be able to serve that community and to help with the investigation and to really start that process of closing out that investigation. As of this morning, I haven't gotten any recent updates, and those will be coming out of Cloquet. Cloquet Police Department is the lead agency in this investigation. But as you know, our agents from the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are doing the investigation, including the crime scene and the criminal investigation. Several state troopers were available last night and were assisting with the initial response and the search. And we also had staff from our Homeland Security and Emergency Management Department that were also on arrival to help with any coordination that may have been needed. I connected last night with two of the local sheriffs and with the chief, and again, they were thankful for the state resources that were coming out. Don't have any specific updates, however, regarding motives or any other details surrounding it. But again, I think, and I know the governor feels the same, and he shared that last night. Again, we really feel for that community and for those first responders. Also, who responded to that incident, and we will be investigating this as thoroughly and as quickly as we possibly can, if that's helpful.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Governor, do you want to address your thoughts on this issue?
Well, again, I would just express the similar sentiments. Anytime we see this type of senseless violence, it is tragic, and I think the Commissioner's right. It's tragic wherever it's happened in a community like this. The chances that someone knows someone involved is very high, and that makes it very much more personalized. And again, the response was tremendous, and the Cloquet Police Department taking the lead on this from the very beginning when the reports were coming in. They had the capacity, they had the expertise, they contained the scene, and I guess in this case, if there's anything to be thankful for, that there weren't more tragedies, but that's small comfort to the families involved. So once again, we've got to continue to work on these issues. We've got to continue to reduce gun violence. We cannot live in a world where we just accept that this is a normal occurrence. It is not, and if there's anything that we can do or learn from this, we will.
All right, we'll wrap it up.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it. Thanks again. Yeah, it was great. I appreciate the update.